to be with you, and nice to be working through these techniques and working through these energies together. It's been a particularly strong few weeks that we've just passed through. The month of March in particular. If you're listening to this in and around when I publish it, the month of March has been crazy for a lot of people. A lot of very intense energies and a lot of fear. And I think it's useful as we go through these times to always have an idea on where we're going, to recognize that, okay, yes, it feels like a storm, but on the other side of the storm is a beautiful, sun-drenched island in paradise. And that might sound like kind of like naive thinking, but when you think about it, or at least when I think about it, at least when I'm beginning to notice in my own life, is that all this chaos is presenting an opportunity. I remember the first time I kind of realized this, that chaos presents an opportunity for authenticity, was around about 2008 when we had the financial crash. And it was a time in my life when I was working as an editor of a publication in Dublin, and I remember I wasn't making a huge amount of money, but AIB Bank had called me up and asked me if I wanted a 100% mortgage or something to the equivalent of that. Now, I really was not on a lot of money at the time. And I just remember having this feeling of I'm being sucked into something that I don't really want to be sucked into. But I couldn't quite find how I would pull myself away. And then the financial crisis happened, the financial crash happened, and all publications suddenly folded overnight. And I was in a position where I left Ireland and I went off to Berlin and I worked in bars. And that seemed to just suit my development and my learning much better. Now I know that's not the kind of the option for all people, but I feel that if that crisis hadn't happened, I probably would have gone down a different road, and I'm not entirely sure that road would have really brought me the kind of joy that I wanted. The same thing when I look at like COVID and everything. I became an online presence because of COVID. Before that, I really, my Instagram was sort of food pics. And then COVID happened and I realized, okay, I feel I want to have an audience even though I can't leave my home. And that it produced that. So there's something about these moments of crisis. There's something about these moments of kind of collective collapse that we can tap into and we can use as a way to just accelerate the changes that we want to make. So I want to talk about alignment. Alignment is really important because alignment is a very physical thing. It's something that you can kind of connect to inside your body. There's certain alignment is just like this knowledge that's inside your body that you can be alert to at all times, and it will let you know whether you're moving in the direction, if you're in the place you're supposed to be in, if you're not. And so much of this is about our nervous system work too. Like the more calm you can create in your body, and we're creating that calm through meditation, we're creating that calm through just taking time out from the chaos. But the more calm you can create in your body, the more you can feel when you are out of alignment. I know for me, when in the past, whenever I would go home and I would be back in my family house, I immediately felt out of alignment. It was just inside my body. It was this feeling of, this is not where I want to be anymore. There's certain places in the world, there's certain supermarkets that I go to and I can feel, I clearly don't go to them anymore, but I can feel I'm not in alignment here. There's something off inside my body. Also, airports for me these days. It's very clear to me when I enter an airport that unless I'm very regulated and unless I've meditated a lot beforehand, the experience is not pleasant for me at all. I don't know if it's pleasant for anybody, but this is alignment, and alignment is really just about listening to the knowledge of your body, which will tell you whether something is right for you or not. So how this ties in with manifestation is very simple. Manifestation isn't something that we're doing, it's just reality reflecting the state of your being. So we are manifesting by default, right? The state of your being. If you're in a state of worry, if you're in a state of joy, if you're in a state of guilt, shame, those things, those beliefs are creating vibrations, and those vibrations are manifesting the reality that you encounter. So it's very important that we can begin to recognize alignment, and we can recognize the environments and the conditions that are most conducive to you feeling well. It's so important. It's so important that we can prioritize just feeling good. You know, I even have this as sort of like your motto in life. Like, what are you doing? What's your purpose? My purpose is to feel good as much of the time as possible. What are you doing with your life? I'm making choices that will enable me to feel as good as possible all of the time. And knowing this, knowing that like your internal world, your internal kind of belief, your state of being is what is creating your reality, it really, really helps to remind us to just keep this emphasis. Keep the emphasis on how you feel. I was speaking to a client just a couple of days ago, and the client was talking about changing their life and wanting to do something different. But they couldn't quite believe that it was possible. The life they were trying to create, and this was a life where they would work from home and sort of be by the beach. I'm not going to talk about surfing in this episode because I feel I've played the surfing metaphor to death at this stage. But they wanted to live this life, be out of a city, be out of the kind of the rat race. But they just couldn't imagine it was possible. So if you cannot imagine that something is possible, then you cannot create. So your creation is all about connecting to a felt sense of how this might be. You know, this is what we call this the frequency of receiving. So first off, you've got to imagine. You've got to be able to imagine how this thing will be, how this future reality will be. And then you need to feel it through your body. And this is where alignment is so important, because alignment is going to tell you, it's going to let you know, oh, I feel off, I feel good, right? The more you can be in this position of I'm feeling good. And sometimes this can be really simple. You know, like I know a lot of us don't have the advantage, don't quite have the capacity to be surrounded by beauty, but at all times. But it's kind of amazing what a plant will do. You know, it's kind of amazing what just organizing your space will do. It's kind of amazing what having a table near a window will do. There are always little things we can do to bring us more into alignment with where we want to be. There's always little things that we can do to just be kinder to ourselves. And the reason that we're doing this is because the body needs to feel the reality before it arrives. So often, right, our way of moving in this world is about, well, I'm going to wait for the reality to be there in my hands before I start to lean into it. How many people, you know, are kind of, once I've got 100k in the bank, then I'm going to start relaxing, you know, or how many people are like, well, once I've got my weight down to this figure, then I'm going to start to like feel sexy or something like this, right? And it's really important that you can get a head start on the reality. It's really important that you can begin to just not wait for the proof, but be the proof. Be the proof at an energetic and feeling level, and then just wait for reality to catch up with you. So, you know, the simple one is always with money, you know, like, can you feel rich? Can you feel rich with no money in your wallet, but knowing energetically that by creating this feeling inside of yourself, that the material reality will eventually catch up with it? So much of this is about looking at the future, right? Looking at your future rather than your past. So if you think about it, so many of us were moving from heavy conditioning, and we're moving out of this heavy conditioning into a kind of a lighter place of intention. So our conditioning has basically put us in a position where all the decisions we made were by default. If you feel shame, you know what I mean? If you've been conditioned to feel there's something wrong with you, then all your choices are coming from your past. They're not aligned with what you want to be. So when you start to make choices from the future, you know, you start to think, well, future me, this is the person I'm becoming. This is who is in complete alignment, and what would they do? And you can begin to transform and lean more and more into what they would do, what future completely aligned version of you would do, how they would operate in the world, how they would show up in the world. And this isn't something that needs to be super complicated. You can have day by day wins here. It's just very simple, like, okay, well, future me, aligned me, would probably cook a meal tonight rather than eating frozen food. And so you do that. You know, future me would maybe stop sending emails at 7 o'clock or something like this. You know the areas where you are overextending. You know the areas where you are not acting from deep love for yourself. So coming into alignment is having this imagination of your future, holding on to that image, and then faithfully as you possibly can, you're trying to create this. And you're staying in that energy of, this is where I'm going. I have full faith that I'm going in this direction. I believe in this. It's really important, this. And the way to kind of, I think the real trick in all of this is to recognize at all times that you can choose to be in a higher vibration. So when I talk about vibrations, and you know yourself, like the vibration of hate, the vibration of shame, the vibration of guilt, the vibration of sadness, they're low. They're low and they're drudgy, and they magnetize just more negativity into our lives. But the vibration of joy, the vibration of contentment, even the vibration of just curiosity, they magnetize beauty into the world, you know, into your world, into your small world. So recognizing that you can always rescue yourself. You can always connect to something more positive, something more aligned with the future version of you, the person that you're becoming. You can always connect to this feeling. Now, this isn't like some form of toxic positivity. Like, sadness is also beautiful, and sadness is welcome. But we gotta look at, say, and I feel like there's a lot of growth that can come from sadness. I think when we just open up to our sadness and we're compassionate towards ourselves as we pass through sadness. Especially, I was just reading a lot of your comments on the check-ins. People are going through like periods of like confusion and grieving. And that's true. I think at a global scale, that's what's happening. Some things are ending. And there's a lot of kind of this death in the world right now. There's a lot of fear in the world right now. But if you can manage your sadness and your fear with compassion and love, and if you can use your fear as an opportunity to connect with other people, not to go back into yourself and isolate, then you can pivot into a higher vibration. You can stay in this place of receiving, this receivership, where your heart is open. You know, the opposite of that was when we go into resentment. You know, we look at it, or we go into hate. I'm working with a lot of people at the moment who are very involved in campaigning for Gaza, and a lot of them are feeling a lot of hate, and this hate is kind of coming out in ways that are disrupting their personal lives. And we're working together, you know, to try and stay in this place of compassion and warmth and sadness when sadness is needed, because there is a huge amount of tears that want to be cried for the world and for humanity right now. But there's also a need to stay in this place of love and self-love. And this self-love very much involves like taking time out, stepping away, and being good to yourself. And this is also alignment. You know, your body knows when it doesn't feel safe. Your body knows when it's overwhelmed. And your body knows what to do. And it's so important that we recognize that if we are pushing, if we are forcing, if we are demanding, then we're out of alignment. This is the whole thing we talked about with the Celtic feminine, this sense of being in this place of softness. It's a sort of a place of, I know this is coming because I'm so confident in my connection to the universe. I know that I have the powers to make this. I have the courage. And that the universe is sort of, not to sound too much like a post-it you might put on a fridge, but that the universe has your back in all of this. And just to kind of, so this is alignment. It's this idea that your body really knows best, and your body will tell you, hey, you're not really supposed to be here right now, or you don't want to be in this conversation. And the more you kind of can listen to that and really honor the intuition of your aligned body, then the easier it is for you just your state of being to be in that high receiving place where manifestation can occur. You know, the thing that happens when we consistently place ourselves in locations or with people that are out of alignment is we begin to feel abandoned. We begin to feel abandoned by ourselves. And this is shame. This is your shame. We've all of us have been programmed with a decent amount of shame. And just something that I think is really useful to just bear in mind here as we are kind of negotiating shame and feeling shame is that shame hates joy. It really, really does. The way to eliminate shame from your body is to just choose joy, choose happiness, choose yourself over and over again. And you can talk about shame, and you can dig into shame, and you can really explore the origins of your shame. But I've found the one thing that has reduced shame from my system has been choosing joy, choosing myself, and choosing happiness over and over and over again. And this for me is alignment. So, yeah, that's really all I wanted to say about this. Just to remember that manifestation isn't so much about what you do. We don't have to feel that, oh God, I'm doing manifestation wrong, or I'm not manifesting properly, or I'm not manifesting in the right way. It's not about what you do. It's just a reflection of your state of being. So right now, as you're listening to me, what is your state of being? Can you connect to gratitude? Can you sort of travel up a ladder of feelings? Can you travel up a ladder of vibrations? If you're in a position of worry right now, can you just soothe yourself and say, hey, I don't need to worry? Where's your mantra? Call on a mantra. Maybe the mantra is everyone loves me and I can't screw up. Maybe the mantra is I am protected when I follow my heart. So come to a mantra, have your support, and know that in any moment you can choose a more positive state. And if you can always remember this, it sort of slowly brings you, it brings you back up the ladder again and brings you into this place of perfect alignment. Alignment not with what you were in the past and the thing that you're moving out of, but who you're becoming in the future. So that's it, guys. Thank you so much. If you're listening around April 3rd, know that these energies, these difficult energies that we're experiencing, we've got another 10 days of them, more or less. And then things are going to open up. So if you have ideas or projects or moves that you're about to make, know that that's going to become a lot easier as we progress into April. All right. Loads of love.